Good morning. My name is Emma Olsen. I'm the Secretary General of Association of Swedish Fashion Brands, and we are the organizer of Fashion Week and this Fashion Talks together with Creative Mornings. I would also like to extend a thanks to A House for hosting us this morning. But today we are so excited to speak with a fashion activist, super stylist, and image maker, Bea Akerlund. Where are you? Come on in.
Morning, everybody. I'm extremely happy to do this in English, just to let you know. I don't know why we call it morning talk. I just woke up, so it should be evening talk because I went to bed like an hour ago. Anyways, I'm extremely grateful that y'all showed up and woke up and are here to listen and hear what I have to say, or any questions that you might have for me.
Yes, so I guess I'll start it off and ask you, describe yourself as a fashion activist. What does this mean for you?
Well, I live, breathe fashion. I was born into fashion. It's just something that is part of me. And with that, I found my calling really early on in life, and discover that you could be a stylist. And when I started out, way back long ago, I'm like a veteran. It wasn't a job that people really knew existed. It wasn't like now everybody knows what a stylist is, and many aspire to become a stylist. It was something that I had to figure out on my own, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I wanted more. And more and more and more. And I feel that my drive and my love for fashion and my love to create drove me into the impossible. And for me, working with Madonna or things like that, it didn't seem far away because I really wanted it. And I believe that if you really want something, you can work extremely hard and you can get there, because if there's a will, there's a way. And but it takes a lot of hard work. And I think what most people don't realize is a stylist works extremely hard. It's not as glamorous as it seems, where you just, oh my God, you dress all these pop stars. It's not like that at all. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of organization. You have to be good, both creative, business, numbers, budgets. There's a much bigger picture than just putting clothes on somebody. You got to figure out where those clothes come from. Where are they going back? How are they coming to you? When are they coming to you? And how do they go back without getting lost? Because things get lost, it costs money. And the budgets go up. So there's a lot of tricks to the game. There's a lot of, I always say, the more organized you are from day one, the better the execution of the job is in the end. So it's really about being a leader to your team on how to run things. And I work with photos. Everything that comes through my door gets photographed, logged, and then you sort of have a Bible, and then you check it. Is it on the photo? And then it goes back. Because after a long job, after 3 weeks, everything looks the same, especially if you're doing a job where everything is black, or there's some sort of a theme, then you don't remember where it came from. So organization is key.
You discovered your passion for styling just shortly after you moved to Los Angeles when you were 14 or something like that.
Yes.
Do you think you would be where you are today if you had not moved to Los Angeles, if you'd stayed in Sweden? Or?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The opportunities out there in the world. I'm not saying that Sweden doesn't have a lot to offer. I just feel that, I took a chance on wanting to discover what else was out there. I grew up in Stockholm, Sweden. I left after 7th grade, and I was at that age in my time where I was curious and I wanted more. And I didn't really know where I fitted in because, as some of you may know, in such a small country, people tend to follow the same trends and follow the same thing. And I didn't really feel like that was part of me. I wanted to be who I wanted to be, but as we all know, being a teenager growing up in school, no one wants to stick out because of bullying and all these things that happen along the way. And there wasn't really a place for me. At that point, I didn't know what my place was. I just knew that, I teased my hair and I wore white Nivea lipstick just like everyone else, even though it looked crazy. And once I moved, I realized there was a whole world out there that was so much bigger, and there were so many people from so many different cultures that it really didn't matter what you represented, because especially LA. It's a place where almost no one that lives in LA is from LA, because everyone's from all around the world. And when I moved to LA, I wasn't bullied, but I was considered exotic because I was the only blonde in school. And all the girls didn't like me because the guys thought that was kind of hot. But I did get best dressed girl in 8th grade, which I thought was a big accomplishment in the beginning to my career. And from that on, I didn't have a budget at the time, but there was something about clothes I just couldn't put down. I just wanted more. I was a shopaholic. Every penny I had, I would go to garage sales. I would go vintage shopping just to create, just to make something out of nothing. And it's what kept me going. It was so exciting to me. And then that went into me going clubbing and underground clubbing and discovering a whole world of people that just dressed and lived the way they wanted to be. And there was no rules and there was nothing. And I thought, wow, this is cool. This is awesome. So then I explored that even more, and my costumes got louder and crazier. And then that just naturally fell into styling of doing what I did on myself, but doing it on other people. And now I sort of feel like I've come full circle. I started dressing myself, and then I concentrated on dressing other people, and now I'm back to dressing myself. So, everything in life is a full circle.
You have dressed some of the biggest stars in the industry, from Madonna, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Britney, a whole bunch of people up here, Katy Perry. Are you aware of what immense power you actually have when dressing them, when putting outfits on them for the red carpet, or if it's for the music videos, or, and how do you work with that?
When you're in it, you're kind of in it, so you don't see it, but you sort of know, but you never know what's going to be a hit. It's the same as for songwriters. You don't know if you're going to have a hit album or not. And it's the same when you're styling a video. You don't know, is it going to be the best video ever? But I've been lucky in my career, and most of my things are hits. So, but with that said, there's a lot of thought process that goes into a project. Like Beyonce Hold Up, for example, started with my husband directed the video, Jonas Akerlund, and he said to me, yellow, yellow, yellow. And I was like, are you sure about yellow? And he's like, she has to wear yellow. No matter what, she has to wear yellow. So I was like, okay. So I looked for every yellow dress on the planet, from vintage to designer to couture. If there was a yellow dress that season, I had it. And I did the fitting, and she chose a green dress. And I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't feel like it was iconic or it was an okay dress. She looked sexy, but it wasn't like, wow. And then with that, there's many aspects to, there's many other cooks in the kitchen that has opinions about what someone like Beyonce would wear. So I sort of went along with it, but I wasn't feeling it in my heart. When I feel it in my heart, I know it's right. So we actually shot the video for half a day in a green dress. And then she went back to the trailer and she's like, this isn't working. So the dress that you see in the video actually showed up late from Roberto Cavalli. And she remembered I showed it to her in her pictures, so she's like, what happened to that yellow dress? So I call all my assistants. I'm like, get the yellow dress out of the truck now. Run. So they come in with a yellow dress, and she tries it on. And I was like, I'm not sure. Okay. But then once she came out of the water in that yellow dress and was walking down the street with the air and the movement. I sort of felt like there was that iconic moment because there's that synergy of the clothing, the song, and the concept of the video. Now, she did 12 videos for that album. Did I know that I didn't know the album was going to be called Lemonade, so how do we know that yellow was so fitting? So then that's how it all sort of became iconic. I mean, it's a little bit of luck, too, I guess.
Like luck. You mentioned Roberto Cavalli, and I know that you've worked with, all the biggest names within fashion, but you're also a great promoter of younger brands. Or less established brands, how do you come in contact with them? How do you find them?
I love emerging fashion. I think I live for that more than anything else. Young talent, emerging fashion keeps me alive. That is what excites me. That is what puts a smile on my face in the morning when someone contacts me or I discover the impossible. Established brands is for everybody. I feel like anyone can have it, and I'm a bit selfish that way because I like to have things that other people can't have. So, with that said, there's a hunt to it all. There's the research. A lot of the times people contact me, or I find them on social media, and it's sort of this treasure hunt in life that has always gone on for me and will probably always go on for the rest of my life. And I've taken it very seriously because I talk to a lot of these emerging designers in fashion, and I know how hard it is. I've started brands. I know how hard it is to get that exposure to get out there, and for an emerging designer to be on a huge celebrity can be a game changer for the rest of their career. So I've always tried to help and promote in every way I can because I feel that it's my job to keep fashion alive, because who else is going to do it?
And can you tell us a little bit more about your latest venture, the Residency Experience?
Yes, the Residency Experience is a showroom that I started about 3 years ago that I curate and co-founded. It's a magical place in Los Angeles where I house about 40 designers from around the world, like a PR showroom. And some of them I nurture, and I feel like I have a very good give and take relationship with a lot of these designers. And that's sort of like the person I am in life. You're good to me, I'm good to you, and it goes vice versa. A lot of them, every project I have will bend over backwards and do anything crazy that I will dream up in a matter of 2 days sometimes. And I have everything from jewelry designers to crazy couture designers to shoes. I mean, it's really a showcase, and like everything I do, I try to do it in a different way than your traditional showroom because that's boring to me. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to have to want to go to the office in the morning. So I created it more like, I look at it as my fashion museum, where how you show the fashion is opposed to just a bunch of clothes on a rack. So the people that actually come in to borrow clothes also feel inspired when they come through the door, and I could show them a little bit in a way on how to put things together and how things group together as a theme.
As the traditional fashion media is changing and the influence of social media, digital media is really, taking an effect, we see your role as a stylist, a celebrity stylist, having much more power. What are your thoughts on this, and what do you see as the future of the
Absolutely.
Of fashion media?
I mean, a few years ago, what was important was the designer. What's important today is the stylist. We are the decision makers of what the celebrity wears. We are the final straw on what the celebrity wears. We are the confidant of what the celebrity thinks and wants, because we're hired as a trust mechanism, and we filter all the bad and only bring the good. Madonna once told me, you can only show up with 2 racks. If you show up with more than 2 racks, you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't mean you can't have 40 racks in the back options, but when you present clothes to your artist, you should only come with 2 racks, because that means that you know you have a vision and you know what you're doing. And that's a very good rule, because once you edit down to 2 racks, it's very precise, and your original thought process should be on those 2 racks. So it is very important. I mean, we call the shot. I mean, you get a project and you need a custom gown. It's not the celebrity that says, oh, call Givenchy. You're the one that says, I think I'm going to call Givenchy, and see what they say. So I think stylists have a very, very important role and part in, where future is going, where the future of fashion is going, and the leadership of what controls the brands. And not only that, because of social media is so big, and especially with celebrities in the fashion industry, to get tagged by a big celebrity could be a game changer for a designer. And there's a lot of wheeling and dealing that goes on behind closed doors that people should know about, especially when it comes to fine jewelry and things like that.
Who of all the celebrities you've worked with has taught you something? I mean, you mentioned Madonna. How instrumental has she been in the development of your own career?
She's everything to my career. She taught me everything. She made me a better mother, wife, stylist, because she has a work ethic like no one else I've ever met in my whole life. There's no one like her. Absolutely. I mean, I worked with them all. There's only one Madonna, and that's why she's the queen. And I tried to apply to the rules that I learned from working with her now for 12 years into my daily life, into everything that I do. If you do something, you could do it, or you could do it great, or you could do it the best, or you could, everything from cooking a meal to hiring personnel to hiring a nanny. Like, you could just have a nanny, or you could have the best nanny in the world. But that comes with inspiration, and it comes with leadership. It comes with not taking less, being okay. You can create this outfit and say, okay, that's the outfit you told me to create. Or you can create this outfit and have 4 backups, and maybe one of the backups is better. But it's all about putting in the time. Time is everything.
We lack it all the time.
Yeah.
But as through your own work and what you've been doing, you've established your own platform. I mean, you have over 100,000 followers on Instagram. You yourself are a celebrity. How do you think about that? I mean, what is? Are you aware of what you convey?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm blushing. I feel like I'm the middleman. I feel like I am the messenger. I am the messenger to inspire and to, I always give credit where credit is due, because it just is so important and so many people don't. And I always think, why not? Why not put on a crazy outfit? It's going to make your day a little bit more exciting. Walking out of the house without red lipstick is unthinkable for me, because I feel completely naked and not glamorous at all. To me, the fashion and the things that I do, it's my art. It's the way of expressing myself, it's what keeps me alive. I don't know how to paint. I don't know how to draw. If I did, I'd probably be doing that. This is my way of drawing. This is my way of getting out inside of me what I want to say. My head is constantly buzzing with all these ideas and all these things. So it's an outlet for me to, I mean, quite frankly, sometimes I think the things I wear, who else is going to wear it? You know, if not me. So sometimes things just has to be worn, just for the pure factor of it has to be worn because it's so amazing. And that is one of the resources by having the Residency Experience, my showroom, is I have all these amazing things and not everyone's going to want to wear it. So I don't want it to go to waste.
You spoke earlier about how, the stylist job is not just about clothes, it's budgets, it's,
I mean, you're
taking
also
care
a
of the
shrink
business.
half the time.
Yeah. How strategic are you with your collaborations, your partnerships, out of a business perspective? Later on today, you're going to be presenting your latest collaboration with IKEA.
Yes.
Omedelbar. What was the thought process behind that?
Well, I guess I feel like I just grew up. Everything I've done up to this point has been a stepping stone to what I really want to do, because all I really want to do is create. So, we all go to work, we all do what we have to do to pay our bills and survive, and, blood, sweat, and tears. Design is really where my heart is at. That is what really fulfills me. If I could just lock myself in a closet with like 5 couture seamstresses for the rest of my life with endless resources of fabrics and things, I would be happy. I don't need all this. I've been there. So IKEA for me was extremely exciting because it was the first time in my life I could actually design something that I could share with the world. Everything I've done, you can't afford, you can't touch, and you can't have because it's created for a pop star. So with creating the collection, I really wanted to give a piece of me and my DNA and what I represent, because everything I do represents other people. So creating the collection, I try to think, okay, can I make something that I think will work in everyone's home? Okay, you might not love my lip pillow because it's too crazy for you, but a drinking glass you can have, or there's a lampshade, or there's a rug. So I really try to cater to any personality and any person because it's so accessible, and that's the amazing experience for me to work with a brand like IKEA, because anyone can afford it. They really can. It's not, no one's getting robbed here, and they're great gifts. I'm always looking for the impossible gift to my friends that have everything, and that's always the question. And giving is love, and I like to share love.
Were you surprised when you were approached by IKEA? I mean, I don't think your aesthetic is something that we see as synonymous with.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. You go through the shelves of IKEA, you won't see much of, what you will be presenting now. So,
well, I really
or?
felt like it was a great challenge. First, I was like, "Ooh, okay, where's this gonna go?" But like anything that comes my way, I take it very seriously. Like if I say yes to something, you have 150% of me. And if I don't respond, then I'm not into it. Like that's just how it works. I don't know if surprise is the right word. I was flattered, I was flattered that they could see past my craziness, and that sometimes people think I'm too much, or I'm too this, or they don't like my aesthetic, or it's too wild. I looked at it as a real challenge to sort of meet in the middle where everybody was happy.
You're also the co-founder of Le Snob,
Yes.
super cool brand. When are
Thank
we
you.
going to have a Bea Akerlund brand proper?
Very soon, I hope. I'm
Really?
working very hard towards it. I just got to get through the next week. And then we'll see. Right now, I'm living day by day. Sometimes you live month by month, week by week. This week, it's day by day. You know, that's the only way to cope with things sometimes when you get a little overwhelmed. You can't think about all of it. Then what I tried to do is I tried to think about, okay, how can I live through the next day and make it the best I possibly can do? And then you go to the next day, and the next day, again, I'm very strategic, and I like planning, and I love lists. I have lists for absolutely everything I do. I live by the app reminders. Like, it's, you know, without that, it's organization. I'm very, very organized.
Well, I think those were my questions. I'm hoping that someone in the audience has some questions for Bea.
Don't be shy.
Swedes are usually very shy. Oh, good. Annika, you're not shy. I know you.
I wanted to know when you fell on your face spectacularly, and what did you do to get up?
You mean in real life, or
not
or in my
physically,
career?
in your career.
Because it actually happened to me
Oh.
like 3 months ago. I'm like, you saw that on Instagram? As we all know, we try things that don't always work out. You got to get back up. You know, when you have an idea and it doesn't always pan out the way you planned it, you got to get back up and try again. You know, it's hurtful sometimes, and especially when a lot of hard work goes into something and it doesn't work out. But the way I always see it is, the ideas are endless. So if this one doesn't work out, fuck it. Move on to the next and make that work. And if that doesn't work out, then keep going again. You just can't give up. Don't give up. You know, you have to be stubborn, and you have to keep going until you get to where you want to be. Anyone else?
Anyone else?
Nobody? Hi.
I guess I'd love to know what was your big break. What was the moment when you said, "Oh, you know, I've made it," or I'm getting there, or you know, how did that happen?
I would have to say it was probably Lady Gaga paparazzi video. I had done things. I had worked with Madonna. I had done things that people liked. But there was a shift in that job because, again, it was all about timing. Good timing is everything in life. She had been after me a couple of times, and I had said no because I was pregnant with twins, and I decided that I was just going to be pregnant with twins because I was only going to do it once, and I was going to do it right. And when she came around, no one really knew who she was. I had a meeting with her, and I tried to make a reservation at the Chateau Marmont, and they're like, Gaga who? And I was like, you know, Lady Gaga. And she had all these bright ideas, and it was my first job back after giving birth and being a mom, so I was exploding with the creativity. I mean, it just I couldn't rhinestone another baby crib or another baby Bjorn because that's what I was doing. So the timing with that was really great because I just sort of threw up on her, you know, with fashion, and she ate it up, and the video was great. So, and then the what's the word I'm looking for? The attention that video got sort of, I don't know if it validated me, but it was like everyone was talking about it. So I felt like that was a little bit of a milestone in my career. Thanks.
Anyone
Hi.
else? Yeah.
how often do you actually use your own designs in your styling work, and do you get inspired when you can't find what you're looking for?
When you say your own designs, what do you mean?
Like Le Snob, or I've seen you've done like some handbags and stuff.
Oh, I mean, I definitely try to incorporate everything I do into my projects. But I would say 2 out of 3 times what you see is my design per another designer. So every job I do, I have a vision. And then in my encyclopedia of fashion, I always try to find the perfect match on who can execute my idea the best. So I will look at a DNA of a brand and say, okay, you work in leather and I need a leather coat. So like Madonna Ghost Town, for example, I had an exact vision of that leather coat that I wanted. I mean, I knew exactly what I wanted in my head. So I went to Chrome Hearts because they work in leather. And so then I usually work with the designer in exact detail on how I want it. Like they will sketch something up, we'll agree on something, and then there's about 1,000 fittings. And I think the key to perfection is 1,000 fittings. I mean, that's literally what it takes from when you have an idea to the final thing on what you see. And if an artist isn't willing to do a fitting, it's not going to be perfect. Thank you. Oh, we don't want to go home already, do we? I woke up all early. Come on. Hi.
Okay, so you work with all of these amazing, strong women. So I obviously have to ask the feminist question. Like, what's your view on like how you contribute to a world that's better, better for women, if at all? Is it something you think about?
Absolutely. There's a language in my styling if you study it really carefully. Every woman I work with, I try to make them as powerful and strong as I possibly can. And I feel like that is my duty. That is my job, to elevate the artist that I'm working with. I say if it's too comfortable, it's probably not that good, because I like torture, corsets, shoes, things. I really work with shapes, and I don't like flimsy because it does not represent a strong woman.
I have a question regarding your kids. You mentioned them before. How much are they, aware of what you're doing? You and your husband, are they involved? Have they gotten a fashion sense
They're
as well?
aware and totally uninterested.
Oh, really?
They
Oh,
could
no.
not care less. Meeting Katy Perry, like they almost cry.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's, I guess, how it works for everyone. If your parents make shoes, your kids have broken shoes. If you do what I and my husband do, my kids could care less about celebrities.
Yeah.
They really are not impressed. We had Madonna over for dinner, and they probably never told one person, to where probably everyone else in school would be like, oh my God. I'm very happy about that, actually. Yeah. I feel like they're going to grow up being who they want to be, and not affected by what we do and the business that we work in and the life that we live. They're very much live in their own bubble, and yeah.
You use the mantra, be who you are, quite a lot.
Yes.
Should we round off by you explaining a little bit what does that really mean, and what does it mean to you?
It's a reminder for me. It's a reminder for me when I was starting off in my career and things were hard, and everyone told me that I was too much. They just told me that I needed to tone it down, and how was I going to get a job? And, you know, I couldn't do a Gap commercial because my book wasn't right or my pictures weren't right. And it never felt right to me in my heart. And I didn't listen to those people. I did what I wanted to do, and I wanted to remind myself that I never gave up who I am. And I wanted to inspire other people to remember to not give up on who they are, and not listen to other people, and not get affected by how other people want them to be or should be or see them. That to really aspire success, you have to follow your heart. You have to work from within on what inspires you, because that's when you're really going to thrive.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for an inspiring morning. I think we'll all go out with lots of energy and all that. Thanks, Martha.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.